Hello everybody, my name is Mariela Romero and I am Community Empowerment Director for Univision in Atlanta, Philadelphia and Raleigh. I am thrilled to welcome you to Corners Outreach's third annual gala, Evening with a Purpose. It's truly a pleasure to be here with you this evening. Although we are together in a different sense, I'm so glad that you are here attending virtually. I want to start with a sincere thank you to our donors, volunteers, supporters, and families around the country who are joining us tonight. Thank you also to our sponsors for making this event possible. Thank you to Child's Company, Piedmont Bank, Olé Mexico, Northside Hospital, Choice Productions.
Choice Productions, your go-to video production and marketing company. Stand out with quality and dynamic videos. We showcase success stories, company testimonials, a special cause, community events, and much more. Wherever you are, we'll come to you. This top-rated traveling video production company is owned by a minority woman with more than 10 years of experience in television news. So make the right choice and choose Choice Productions.
Thank you to everyone who chose to support our fabulous cause. Now, a couple of housekeeping things. Please post pictures from your gathering and post to Facebook and also Instagram and tag Corners. Thanks to the winner of our raffle, we deliver the basket before the event and we hope you are enjoying it. Since this is our first virtual gala, I'll share what you can expect from us tonight. In the next 45 minutes, we are going to show you how Corners Outreach has been helping families throughout the COVID-19 pandemic and how they're really focused on nurturing the whole family. Corners has seen their families face new struggles during this time, and we need your help funding some of those items. And to assist me with that, I'm thrilled to have Megan McRoberts from Action Event Works here with us tonight.
Hello, Mariela. Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here as well. For the past 8 years, Corners Outreach has dedicated countless hours and tons of love to help support families with large hearts, but with small resources. At Corners Outreach, we're committed to helping our low-income families persevere through these tough times, and we couldn't continue to serve these families without our generous community, and that means you. So tonight, we encourage you to step up and support us throughout the entire night. You can do so by texting the number 24365 as in 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and typing the word Corners. You'll receive a link and you can follow the prompts to make your donation. Now I'm going to toss it back to Mariela to tell you a little bit more.
Thanks, Megan. Now I want to introduce the Executive Director of Corners Outreach, Larry Campbell, to tell you what we have been up to this year. I met Larry about 3 or 4 years ago, and he is a man who inspires me every day to do good, and I know that he will inspire you to do the same. Larry?
Thank you, Mariela. We are so blessed to have you help us be our MC, and we're constantly reminded of how talented you are. I just want to begin tonight by thanking everyone. While our preference would be that we were here together in person, we're just thankful that we can be together. It's been a strange year for us because we haven't had the opportunity to welcome our volunteers, to hug on people, to do handshakes, to do high fives, to do celebrations. But we want you to know that we appreciate you. During this time period, we want to constantly say thank you. So many of you have given so much, and we so much appreciate how you've helped us support our families during a difficult time period. It speaks well of your goodness. Thank you so much for doing that. You know, people ask me constantly how is this year? I can truly say the word that comes to mind is strange. In all my many years, and many is the right word, it's just been a strange year. There's no real way to say it other than that. When we look at the year, we've already had over 200,000 deaths due to coronavirus. We've had numerous people lose jobs at all economic levels. We think a great deal about the people who lose jobs at blue collar, and that's certainly true and affected our families. But many of our white collar families have lost jobs also. And our schools have gone digital. Who would have ever thought we would see all of our kids trying to learn online? So it's just been a strange year in that process. It's also fair to say that the inequities are more heightened than ever before due to the COVID situation. And I think that's something that we want to think about during that time period. A disproportionate impact on the folks that live in poverty has certainly occurred. We often say that during times of stress, character is revealed. And we think during these times, our infrastructures and our systems have shown a lot of pressure points that need to be improved. As we move from what I would call relief to recovery, we cannot forget that our systems all need to change. As we think about these things together, we can make those things happen. Also this year, we lost two great heroes, John Lewis and C.T. Vivian. They both passed away during this year. I was blessed to know both of them, to learn from both of them, and have the experience of talking to them directly. I want to recount a story from C.T. Vivian that he told me in May of 2017. Now, when I met him, he was 93. I was just blown away about how sharp he was. In fact, he was born in the same month and the same year as my dad, which made us have a great connection. And when he would tell me his stories about being with Martin Luther King, and when I would go look on the internet to see how he was beaten and how he was arrested and how he was treated, it would bring tears to your eyes to see what he went through. And so I asked him, Reverend Vivian, how did you do that? How did you do that day in, day out? And he said, Larry, we went out every day expecting to die. And when we didn't die, it encouraged us to go out the next day. I want you to just think about that you live your life in such a way that you expected to die. He wasn't fighting a war against foreign entities. He was fighting for a seat at the table. He was fighting for a seat on the bus. He was fighting for a place in the restroom, for a place he could vote in America. He was fighting for schools that his kids could go to. In many ways, talking to Reverend C.T. Vivian emphasizes that we've come a long way in changing laws, but we've not come a long way in changing hearts. And tonight and every day we go forward, we must find ways to make sure that what we do not only changes the rules, but it changes how we feel about our neighbors in that process. I want you to hear this because this is in my lifetime. I'm not talking about something I read in a book. In my lifetime, I've seen those changes. I grew up in Nashville, where many of the folks came and boycotted because they could not get a seat at the table. It's sad to me to realize that we've made progress, but not all the progress we need to make. We must do better. When I look at Corners, and I look at Corners looking backwards in our previous 9 years or looking forward in our next 10 years, Corners is committed to spending more time helping our brown families. But Corners wants to heavily emphasize the work with our black families because they need us and we need to be with them so we can understand what's going on in America. At the beginning of this year, I asked Paul Reed to accept the role as chairman of our board. And I am very, very blessed by Paul. He's my brother. He's my friend. He has tremendous leadership skills. I want Paul to spend a few minutes talking to you about what we want to do at Corners to emphasize our work with black communities. I'm so thankful for the role Paul plays, and I'm so thankful for all the families that accept us into their lives, and I'm so thankful for all of you that gives us money to make that possible.
You care about those that don't look like you, don't act like you, don't talk like you, doesn't matter. You just care about people. And it shows up in what we do at Corners because we focus really on the whole family. And now, what's really cool, I see us begin to now focus on the whole community. Think about it, we're now branching out, we're going beyond. Organically, we started with the Latino community because that's where we were. That's where our church was, that's our neighborhood. But now, it's pretty cool, we're actually now moving out into other areas. I recall you telling me, I think back in 2019, that you had met with Dr. Tommy Welch. And with that relationship, he asked you or encouraged you really, Larry, you need to support more the black community. I know when I go to my friends and look to them to say, hey, would you invest in Corners? The people that look like me, they ask the same question. And so I'm so happy that we're taking that step forward, because that relationship with Dr. Welch led you, as we opened Meadow Creek, the homework club there, to really start working with Dr. McCain, who was the principal. And then after working with Dr. McCain, who now will be the principal at Partee Elementary School, it's just this natural progression and evolution into the predominantly black community. And as you know from COVID-19, as well as the social injustice, really these are the communities that are most impacted, that it's important that we reach out and we work with these communities. So I'm so excited to see the progression from where we started to really where we're headed.
As we all know, 2020 has been an unforgettable year for all of us, but especially for our community nonprofits. Due to the uncertainty that's ahead, many of them have buckled down and stayed the course, just hoping to survive. But that's one of the things that makes Corners so special. They have chosen to step up and help more families who have been displaced and negatively affected this year. And what they've realized is that we need to serve more people and broaden our ability to reach into the community of those who need support the most. Your $5,000 donation would help us to open up another Corners Academy location for the Shiloh cluster and help a new community of students who desperately need extra help in school. We only need 3 commitments at this level to meet our fundraising goal tonight. Can you help us? Simply text 24365, type the word Corners, and follow the prompts to make your donation. And we do have some donations coming in that I'd like to announce. Thank you to Jim Balcom for your donation. Thank you to David and Michelle Williams for your donations of $5,000.
The pandemic has forced the country to move towards more virtual connecting, learning, and working. For many low-income families in Metro Atlanta, computers are not in their homes. Wi-Fi is too expensive, and communication is done through smartphone. But a laptop, desktop, or tablet is not part of their home life. Last year, the only places that our students had access to a computer were school and Corners Academy. But now, all students need a computer at home to just participate. This has been such a huge burden for our families. Not only are devices and Wi-Fi out of their price range for many Corner families, but they don't have the computer skills to know how to utilize the devices and assist their child in learning. I bet many of you know what we're talking about. Digital learning has been so tough for all of us, even when we do have a laptop for our child.
That's right, Mariella. Tonight, we're asking for your help in raising money for Chromebooks for our students and computer literacy training for our parents. We understand that the whole family needs computer skills in order to thrive and to learn. So we want to make sure that each family can have the digital connection that they need. As much as we don't want to think about this pandemic continuing or another shutdown happening, we can't deny that our families need to be prepared and should have the same opportunities in this new digital world. Friends, at the $2,500 level, this would help us purchase 10 Chromebooks. We need 6 commitments at this level to meet our fundraising goal. So please go into your phone now and text 24365, type the word Corners, follow that link, and make a donation in the $2,500 amount so that we can provide 10 Chromebooks to our students. Thank you to all of our donors who have already supported us at this level. Now we want to give a big shout out to all of you at home who are watching and participating with us tonight. Friends, neighbors, have your family members together. Just like we encourage you to get your family together, we want to inspire you to support the whole family at Corners Outreach. So here's what we're asking you to do. Go to our social channels, Facebook and Instagram, snap a picture of yourself, and type hashtag Corners Outreach on your social posts so that we can acknowledge you and share in us celebrating the whole family. Now it is my privilege to introduce you to how Corners celebrates the whole family. Take a look.
Corners understands that employment and education are two key successes to curbing poverty and creating a better life for our families.
Bye, everybody. It's time to work. Bye.
By creating jobs in lawn care and sewing for our parents, we increase their earnings level by paying a living wage, which allows them to work less and be able to spend more time with their family.
Good morning, Emily and Xander. How are you guys today?
At Corners Academy, we see toddlers and parents for early learning, where we help the parent learn how they can be the best teacher for their child, using fun activities like singing nursery rhymes, reading books, and doing crafts. We help these children learn the alphabet, shapes and colors, counting, and basic skills. At Corners Academy After School program, the focus is on reading and math,
right? You might eat at home,
which are key indicators of high school graduation. Many students are significantly behind, and Corners Academy uses a curriculum to enable them to catch up.
Okay, bye.
Corners helps teens through the high school journey by meeting weekly to share a meal with friends and mentors. The main goal of Corners Teen Program is to help navigate life on a successful trajectory after graduation. At Corners, our goal is to nurture the whole family.
Gracias, tía. Gracias por todo. Cuida tu familia. Déjame pasar.
Wow, isn't it amazing to see all the touch points that Corners has with a family? It's this whole family approach that makes Corners so unique and so successful. Now, we're inviting you to join us in our efforts to feed our families by donating $100 right now, which will provide 2 full boxes of food to our families. I mean, look at this, my friends. For only $100, you're going to help a family of 5 for an entire week. We are looking for 25 people to donate $100 right now. Can you join us? Friends, our families need additional help during these times. So many things are difficult, and job loss has been exponential in our community. This is your chance to step up and help another family just as you would want someone to help you. Now, I'd like to thank a couple of our donors who've come in already at the $100 level. Thank you to Lindsay and Luke Kellum for your support. Thank you to Kathy Lowe for your $100 donation, and to Amanda and Seth Wright for purchasing a box of food for 2 families, again, for a family of 5. It is your chance to be one of those supporters, so text now and continue to show your support for our Corners families.
And now it is truly my honor to introduce a really special guest to you right now. Father Gregory Boyle is a legend throughout the country for his amazing work at Homeboy Industries in Los Angeles. Homeboy Industries creates jobs for former gang members and has created a great community to thrive. He is the author of 2 incredible books, Tattoos of the Heart and Barking to the Choir. It's wonderful to have him here to speak with us on what it means to love a person fully, why every person deserves a good job, and also his concept of radical kinship. With you, Father Gregory Boyle.
Good evening. It's a real privilege and honor to be with all of you tonight to celebrate Corners Outreach. I wish I was there with you, but such are the times in which we live. I have enormous respect for Larry Campbell and for what he has created there, and honored to be with you. You know, we're all invited to create a community of kinship such that God, in fact, might recognize it. We are invited to imagine a place and a community of beloved belonging. Like the great John Lewis said, we all live in the same house. He didn't say that, well, some people live in the basement and some live on the 3rd floor. No, we all live in the same house. He didn't say, well, one day we might all live in the same house. No, he stated what is true. We all live in the same house. It's just awaiting us to know that that in fact is our truth. And so until then, we imagine a circle of compassion, and then we imagine nobody standing outside that circle. And to that end, to create a community of kinship, we all choose together to dismantle the barriers that exclude. And as you say, connecting lives at every corner, you go out to the corners, which is to say the edges of things, the margins, so that the margins will get erased, and you stand with the poor and the powerless and the voiceless, and you stand with those whose dignity has been denied and those whose burdens are more than they can bear. And we all have this exquisite privilege, really, to stand with the easily despised and the readily left out. We get to stand with the demonized so that the demonizing will stop. And what a privilege it is to stand with the disposable so that the day will come when we stop throwing people away. This is what you do at Corners Outreach every day. And I suppose we all have to brace ourselves for people who may well accuse us of wasting our time. But the prophet Jeremiah writes, "In this place of which you say it is a waste, there will be heard again the voice of mirth and the voice of gladness, the voices of those who sing." And so we want other voices to get heard, and that's why we go to the margins. Of course, we don't go to the margins to make a difference. We go to the margins so that the folks at the margins make us different. I remember a homie who was working in Houston, a former gang member, had been to prison. Now he was working with gang members in the streets of Houston. He came up to me after a talk and he pleaded with me and he says, "How do you reach them?" Meaning gang members. And I found myself saying to him, well, for starters, stop trying to reach them. Can you be reached by them? Can you allow your heart to be altered? Can you receive them in such a way that both of you inhabit your dignity and nobility? I know we all begin with service because it's the natural place to begin, but service is the hallway that leads you to the ballroom. You want to get to the ballroom, which is the place of exquisite mutuality, a place where there is no us and them, there's just us. One of the great privileges of my life was knowing Cesar Chavez as a friend, and he was just an extraordinary listener. If you were in his presence, nobody else existed, just you. He was laser beam focused. He was never looking over your shoulder to see if someone more important was on the approach. But once famously, a reporter had commented to him and said, "Wow, these farm workers, they sure love you." And Cesar just shrugged and smiled and said, "The feeling's mutual." And that's the hope, that we get to the margins and the feeling is mutual, that we look in each other's eyes and we say the old Buddhist saying, "Oh, nobly born, remember who you really are." And everybody inhabits their dignity. It's like the old Christmas carol, "O Holy Night, long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared, and the soul felt its worth." And yeah, it's about Jesus. And yeah, it's about Christmas. But how is it not the job description of everyone watching tonight? You appear, and the soul feels its worth. Every single one of you is invited to become enlightened witnesses, people who through your kindness and tenderness and focused, attentive love return people to themselves. At Homeboy Industries, we are allergic to the idea of holding the bar up and asking gang members to measure up. Instead, we hold the mirror up and we tell the truth. And then it's mutual. And then you're never trying to save or fix or rescue. You're delighting in the person in front of you. This is why you don't burn out. Because if you do burn out, then it's about you. But if you delight in the person in front of you and you stay anchored in the present moment, then it stays about us. And then it's about the folks on the margins making me different. And that's eternally replenishing. In the Acts of the Apostles, it has this odd line, and it says simply, "And awe came upon everyone." And it suggests that the measure of health in any community at all may well reside in our ability to stand in awe at what the poor have to carry, rather than stand in judgment at how they carry it. A number of years ago, I was invited to speak to 600 social workers in Richmond, Virginia. And it was what they call a gang-in service. And they commandeer a hotel ballroom from 9 to 5. And they have keynotes and workshops and breakout sessions. And so they invited me, and I said yes. And I bought my ticket figuring I'd give a keynote, I guess. When a week before the trip, I pulled out the original letter inviting me, and to my horror, it said that I was to be the only speaker from 9 to 5 all damn day. And I said, as the homies would say, oh, hell no, I'm not going to speak the whole day. And so I called 2 trainees in, homies, gang members, Andre and Jose, and they're in our 18-month training program, and they've been there for like 9 months. And so I sat them down and I said, look, at the end of the week, you're flying with me to Richmond, Virginia to speak to 600 social workers. I'd like you to get up and tell your stories. Take your time, because we got a long-ass day to fill. Well, I never heard their stories, so Jose gets up first. I guess he's 25 years old. He was a gang member, tattooed, been to prison. But he had also a long stretch as a homeless man and an even longer stretch as a heroin addict. And so he gets up in front of 600 social workers and he says, I guess you could say my mom and me, we didn't get along so good. I think I was 6 when she looked at me and she said, why don't you just kill yourself? You're such a burden to me. Well, 600 social workers audibly gasp. And then he says, it sounds way worser in Spanish. And then we went from gasp to laugh. And then he continued, I think I was 9 when my mom drove me down to the deepest part of Baja California. And she walks me up to an orphanage and she knocks on the door and the guy comes to the door and she says, I found this kid. And she left me there for 90 days until my grandmother could get out of her where she had dumped me, and my grandmother came and rescued me. My mom beat me every single day of my elementary school years with things you could imagine and a lot of things you couldn't. Every day my back was bloodied and scarred. In fact, I had to wear 3 t-shirts to school every day. First t-shirt because the blood would seep through, and second t-shirt you could still see it. Finally, the third t-shirt you couldn't see any blood. Kids at school, they'd make fun of me. Hey, fool, it's 100 degrees. Why are you wearing 3 t-shirts? And then he stopped speaking, so overwhelmed with emotion, and he seemed to be staring at a piece of his story that only he could see. And when he could regain his speech, he said through his tears, I wore 3 t-shirts well into my adult years because I was ashamed of my wounds. I didn't want anybody to see them. But now I welcome my wounds. I run my fingers over my scars. My wounds are my friends. After all, how can I help heal the wounded if I don't welcome my own wounds? And awe came upon everyone. The measure of our compassion lies not in our service of those on the margins, but only in our willingness to see ourselves in kinship. For the truth of the matter is this: if we don't welcome our own wounds, we may well despise the wounded. The feeling's mutual. We go to the margins not to make a difference, but so that the widow, orphan, and stranger make us different. We go to the margins not to fix or rescue or save anybody, because then we'll burn out. We go to the margins to be rescued, to be reached, to have our hearts altered, and to enter into the exquisite mutuality where we look in each other's eyes and we say, "O nobly born, remember who you really are." And the soul feels its worth. All our souls feel worth. And so we go to the margins and we go to every corner. And pretty soon we cease to care whether anyone accuses us of wasting our time. For in this place of which you say it is a waste, there will be heard again the voice of mirth and the voice of gladness, the voices of those who sing. May God bless Corners Outreach.
Wow, what an incredible message from Father Greg Boyle. It's so inspiring to hear what others are doing around the country to work with those who are on the margins. Thank you, Father Greg, for your tireless commitment to serving those in our community. We appreciate you. You can also support us at the $1,000 level to help sponsor individual students to attend this new Shiloh Cluster Academy. We only need 10 commitments at this level to meet our fundraising goal. So go ahead into your phone and make that donation now. Every single dollar counts. I'd also like to thank Dick and Deb Lopresti for your generous donation at this $1,000 level. Thank you to Shelley and Adam Lloyd for your donation. And now I'm going to turn it back over to Miss Mariella.
This year, Corners Industries has continued to grow their lawn care business by adding new services. Check out what they're doing here.
Corners Lawn Care offers weekly and bi-weekly lawn services. Standard landscape maintenance includes mowing, edging, pruning, trimming, blowing, weed control, and cleanup. With Corners Lawn Care, you will have a healthier, greener lawn with our turf program, built through years of field experience and continuing education. You will update the look of your house with new mulch or pine straw for a quick rejuvenation any time of year. And you will add color to your outdoor environment with new flowers, bushes, and trees in a variety of textures and colors. What many of you may not know is Corners Lawn Care provides much more than just improving your grass and flowers. With over 25 years of experience, the project team at Corners can build retaining walls, design and install drainage and sprinkler systems. Corners can even design and build hardscapes, such as sitting areas, walkways, fire pits, and more. In addition to our focus on quality work and building client relationships, Corners is different in two ways. First, we pay living wages to all our employees. Often individuals working in essential jobs make insufficient income. Our wages are determined by local living costs, and employees earn more than minimum wage, allowing them more time with their family rather than taking on a second job. Secondly, Corners Lawn Care donates 15% of all profits to tutor low-income students in reading and math. By choosing Corners, you are advocating for living wage and educational opportunity for all. Visit our website and request a quote today at cornersoutreach.org.
And they have also created a mask sewing business to help moms who lost their jobs and need to stay home with their kids. My colleague Wendy Corona from WSB highlighted them on the evening news back in May. Let's take a look.
You've heard the medical experts say this pandemic is not going anywhere for a while, and that means masks will stick around too.
And while many have lost their jobs because of coronavirus, a Gwinnett County nonprofit found a way to get people back to work at home to help stop the spread.
And we're at probably about 200 a day right now.
Mari Ladson is the program director for Corners Outreach. During the coronavirus pandemic, many of the families they assist lost their jobs. And with children home from school, employment options were slim.
Our communities don't want anything for free. They want that opportunity to work and contribute.
Enter the More Than a Mask initiative, funded by a grant from Welcoming America. Sewing machines, material, and women at home ready to work were all that was needed to get moms like Elvira Diaz back to work.
2
months without work and with bills to pay, the mother of 4 learned how to sew and take on this at-home challenge to provide masks for the community and an income for her family.
It's a way to help, by employing, but also help by protecting our community.
A team of about 15 mothers are at home making masks, contributing during this pandemic and earning a living wage. Elvira is proud of what she's doing, especially because it helps others.
I think they're doing an amazing job sewing these masks with a lot of care and love.
Oh, and it shows. The group is also donating 1,000 masks to farm workers in South Georgia. Elvira told me there was a bit of a learning curve, but now she really is in a groove with sewing these masks and feels so good knowing that she's contributing to the community as well as her family. So if you'd like to check out the More Than Masks project, you can link up on WSBTV.com. Just look under links mentioned on Channel 2.
Friends, tonight we're looking for some of you to help grow our side, our industry side of Corners Outreach. We're looking for 15 people to give $500 right now to allow us to purchase more lawn care equipment so we can put more people to work. All you have to do, as you know, is text 24365 and type the word Corners and follow the prompts. Thank you to John Clow for your donation at $500. Thank you to, I think we see an anonymous donor came in at $500. Thank you so much. And thank you to the other anonymous donor who just came in at the $500 level. We see you and we appreciate you. Now it is our great privilege to close out the night. Mariella, it has been such an honor to be here with you tonight. Thank you.
Likewise, Megan. This has been an inspirational night.
We appreciate so much you being here with us, and we hope that you will continue to support Corners even beyond tonight so that we can help put people to work and help kids stay in school.
Now we are looking for Larry to close this evening.
Wow, I hope that you've had a wonderful evening with us. We're so thankful that you've joined us tonight. I want to give a special shout out to Mariella for letting her talent be shown through Corners Outreach. This is her 3rd year of being our MC. A special thanks to Amy and Sarah and Bridget for all the work they did tonight to make things happen, and for everyone who's on tonight's video, all the folks that made tonight be a special night for us. I want to make sure as we think about us moving forward, I want to give a special thank you to Father Boyle. Reading his books, meeting him personally, he's been an inspiration. It's through him we thought of things like Corners Industries. I can't thank you enough for all the work you do and touch so many lives. As we close tonight, a lot of people in our story get confused on who the hero is, and it's not Larry Campbell. It is the families that let us walk out life with them, that open their hearts to us. It is you, the folks that give of your time and of your money, that makes Corners work. Together, we are impacting lives in our community. Thank you for your gifts tonight and for your gifts ongoing. I hope you have a wonderful evening.